Welcome back. Today we will be seeing introduction to web services. Keep watching. We will be discussing as per the syllabus of CBSE prescribed for 12th computer science. In today's discussion, let us look at the web services. Okay, as per the syllabus prescribed by CBSE. Okay, in this syllabus, see, I'll be discussing about WWW hypertext markup language, extensible markup language, hypertext transfer protocol, then domain name, then URL, then website, web browser, and web servers, then web hosting, then web scripting, server side scripting, client side scripting, and web 2.0. So in today's lesson we will be discussing, we will be looking at all these things. Okay, let us go forth and see what is a web service. So there are multiple definitions for web services. What is a web service? Web service is any piece of software that makes itself available over the internet and uses a standardized XML messaging system. XML is used to encode all communications to web service. For example, a client invokes a web service by sending an XML message, then waits for the corresponding XML response. As all communications in XML, web services are not tied to any one operating system or programming language. Java can talk with Perl, Windows applications can talk with Unix applications, okay, like that. So we have independent applications on some different operating systems, isn't it? So when we want to join two applications which are working on independent platforms, so then we need to go for a web service. What is a web service? Other definition is web services are self-contained, modular, distributed, dynamic applications that can be described, published, located, or invoked over the network to create products, processes, and supply chains. These applications can be local, distributed, or web-based. Web services are built up on top of open standards such as TCP/IP, HTTP, Java, HTML, and XML. Another definition is web services are XML based information exchange systems that use the internet for direct application to application interaction. These systems can include programs, objects, messages, or documents. Another definition is a web service is a collection of open protocols and standards used for exchanging data between applications or systems. Software applications written in various programming languages and running on various platforms can use web services to exchange data over computer networks like the internet in a manner similar to inter-process communication on a single computer. This interoperability, for example, between Java and Python or Windows and Linux applications, is due to the use of open standards. Right. So to summarize, a complete web service is therefore any service that is available over the internet or private intranetworks. It uses a standardized XML messaging system, is not tied to any one operating system or programming language, is self-describing via a common XML grammar, is discoverable via a simple find mechanism. Right. So what is a web service? If you still look at, so this is web service is when you want to communicate between, say for example, from Java to MySQL or from Java to some other is Python. Okay, if you want to have that interconnectivity, so then we will go for a web service. It is a standardized medium protocol or language to propagate communication between the client and the server applications on the World Wide Web. A web service is a software module. It is not any hardware component, it is a software module that is designed to perform a certain set of tasks. Web services are invoked by the user directly or indirectly to provide services to the program or software which is being used as part of WWW. User may be unaware about such web services. The web services can be searched for over the network and can also be invoked accordingly. When invoked, the web service would be able to provide the functionality to the client which invokes that web service. What are the components of web service? So the basic web services platform is XML plus HTTP. All standard web services work using the following components. One is SOAP, another is UDDI, another is WSDL. What is SOAP? Simple Object Access Protocol. What is UDDI? Universal Description, Discovery and Integration. WSDL is Web Services Description Language. Okay, so these are all the components of web services. So mainly we are using XML and the HTTP, right? So standard, what are the standard web services that work using the components SOAP, UDDI, WSDL? Mean there are so many standard web services. Okay, so now let us go forth and see what is www. See, most of us may be thinking that www is nothing but internet. Is it so? See, actually internet is a huge network of computers all connected together. It is interconnected collection of autonomous computers, autonomous systems, isn't it? But the World Wide Web, or the web for short, is a collection of web pages found on this network of computers. See, we use web browser. What is a web browser? Is it a device? No, web browser is also a software, isn't it? That application we use to open the web pages. See, web browser uses the internet to access the web. The World Wide Web is a way of exchanging information between computers on the internet, tying them together into vast collection of interactive multimedia resources. World Wide Web was created by Timothy Berners-Lee in 1989 at CERN in Geneva. World Wide Web came into existence as a proposal by him to allow researchers to work together effectively and efficiently at CERN. Eventually, it became World Wide Web. Okay, so web architecture, if you look at, web is a two-tiered architecture. See, a web browser displays the information contents, web server that transfers information to the client. Okay, whenever you are entering something in your browser URL, right, that is a request you are giving. So over the network it reaches to the server. From the server, response is again transferred back to the from wherever request has been sent. Okay, so if you look at the computer, you see, if you look at the client, so users are computer or client. So client, even it is a mobile or okay, whatever the device you are using the browser and there you are entering, isn't it? So that is the request for a web page. Okay, so over the network it is transmitted to the server. Okay, the server, upon receiving the request for a particular web page, so it will search for it and it will give the response. Okay, so if that file is found, so that page is given over the network to the client back. Okay, so this is a two-tier architecture. So browser is displaying the information contents, web server is that is transferring the information to the clients. Okay, so here when you are using web browser, which language it uses? There are different languages, isn't it? So one is HTML. So what is HTML? HTML full form is Hypertext Markup Language. It is a document design language, not a programming language. It is just that document, whatever we are watching, no, in the web pages and all websites, right? So it provides various kinds of tags used to define the structure and appearance of web pages. So HTML, who created this? Was also created by Sir Tim Berners-Lee in late 1991, but was not released officially, which was published in 1995 as HTML 2.0. HTML5 is the latest evolution of the standard that defines HTML. Okay, so what is the basic structure of HTML? Okay, so if you look at the HTML tags, okay, whatever the coding you write for that document design, right? So HTML is a tag. Okay, so begin tag will be there and ending tag, right? So within the HTML tag, see, header is enclosed again in the head begin tag and then head ending tag, and then the body. right? So all together within the HTML. So once the entire HTML content, whatever you want to prepare for that page, so all the tags are over, everything is finished, then close the body tag, close the HTML tag also, right? This is the basic structure of HTML. It is interpreted, okay, right? So now let us look at how does it work. Or okay, at the end I will show you how to work with the HTML, XML, or in the other session I will be giving you more examples and practically all the HTML pages, how to execute or how to create web pages and all I will show you. Okay, so now extensible markup language. What is XML? XML stands for extensible markup language. XML is a markup language that defines set of rules for encoding documents in a format that is both human readable and machine readable. XML is platform independent and language independent also. The main benefit of XML is that we can use it to take data from a program like Microsoft SQL and convert into XML. Then share that XML with other programs and platforms. That is a main advantage as a web service. Okay, XML plus HTTP is used as a web service, we have seen, right? So here XML is not similar to HTML, though the pronunciation seems to be both are markup languages, but XML is extensible markup language, HTML is hypertext markup language. HTML has predefined tags, only those tags we have to use to create our web pages or whatever, right? Okay, but XML is, using XML you can generate, you can create a language like HTML also. So it provides a framework for markup. It is see, if you look at the structural also, XML information provided, HTML does not contain structural information. Okay, so XML is case sensitive, whereas HTML is case insensitive. XML transfers information, whereas HTML only for the presentation of the data. Okay, so XML errors not allowed, but HTML, as it is interpreted language, so even small errors can be ignored. Okay, so XML white spaces can be preserved, but HTML does not preserve white spaces. See, XML closing tag compulsory to be used, but HTML closing tags are optional. Okay, so XML must, when you are doing nesting, it must be properly done, but in HTML not much valuable. See, you can while nesting it is not that much valuable. Okay, so these are the basic differences between XML and HTML. Using XML you can create language like HTML, but HTML is not generic. Okay, so HTML is already predefined, only those things we have to use, right? So now what is the structure of a XML document system? See, if you want to create an XML document system, okay, so we need either a CSS or XSL and one grammar structure, that is DTD, and one XML file. Okay, so XML document is intended to display the data like HTML. Okay, suppose if you are using it for that purpose. Okay, so then either you will go for a CSS, DTD, XML file, or there you can have XML parsers also. Okay, so a CSS is what? Cascading style sheet. Okay, what is the full form of CSS? Cascading style sheet, or extensible style sheets also you can use. It defines the style, how it would appear, like for example font, color, size, alignment. Okay, these are all the okay, different styles you can apply to the textual information, isn't it? Okay, different styles. See, when you are putting the mouse on a particular tag, so on hovering the mouse, what must be the style, what color should be the font of the, okay, so either it should glow or it should come, all these things and all we are specifying in the XML CSS, sorry, cascading style sheet. Okay, now we will be having one DTD, that is grammar structure defined in document type definition. It is optional component in XML document system and defines the rules of the document, that is tag definition. So that tag is not a predefined tag. Suppose if you are not using HTML tags, if you are writing your own tags, then we will be giving a DTD. Right. Next one is the actual HTML kind of tags. Okay. So this is the XML file which contains and describes the actual data. Right. So now let us have a just how to prepare XML document. Let us see the steps. Okay. So first to prepare XML document file as per the problem. Okay. First XML document is divided into again two parts, that is prologue and the data instance. Prologue is preface or introduction to XML document. It includes an XML declaration, comments, etc. And then data instance, it contains actual data. Then second step is prepare a style sheet for XML file. As in the previous slide we have seen CSS cascading style sheet or something like that. Okay, so it contains style rules that tells the browser how to display an XML document and link the XML file with the style sheet. So how do we do that? Okay, and let's go forth and see how do we do that. See, suppose if we want to get an output like this, computer parts is the title, and then motherboard is the paragraph title, and then whatever the motherboards, and then TFT monitor, and this is the expected view on the browser. So then how do we go and how do we create XML document, right? See, first tag is, see, first tag whatever we are writing is XML version 1.0, encoding is UTF-8. This much is it is I hope it is clear. So first tag is we are, as this is a XML file, so we have written this tag, and then uh, we are linking to another CSS. Suppose if you have already prepared a cascading style sheet parts.css, okay, whatever the styles to be appear for every tag, like what attributes. Okay, so then that parts.css we are referring into your our XML, this test.xml, right? So XML style sheet type equal to text.css, and then it refers to hyperlink reference, right, h reference to parts.css. Now we have written, see, if you look at these tags, it looks similar to HTML tags. Parts is the first tag, then title, and after that whatever title you wanted to have, right, to that page. So computer parts, then part name, so motherboard, then part name, then manufacturer, then model, then cost. So every tag if you look at, but are these tags available in HTML? No, they are not predefined. So like this we can create our own tags in XML. Okay, so here if you look at the preparation of style sheet for this parts.xml, right? So the file name is part.css file. So what are the parts, how it should be displayed? Say display is block letters. Okay, title, display block letter, font family, Arial, color, which color, font weight, all these are all the styles. Okay, these are all the styles for the each and every tag that is used in the XML file. Okay, right? Now see, now let us go forth and see the next thing in our syllabus, that is HTTP. What is HTTP? HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol and is used to transfer data across the web. It allows users of the World Wide Web to exchange information found on web pages. When accessing any web page, entering http:// in front of the address tells the browser to communicate over HTTP. How it works? It is a connectionless text-based protocol. Okay, clients, that is web browsers, send requests through request object of HTTP to web servers for web pages or images, etc. Web server respond accordingly through response object of HTTP. After this cycle is over, the connection between client and server across the internet is disconnected. So every time when you are making one more request, then again the new request object, that is new request has been made for each. Okay, new connection has been made for each request, means for each web page. Okay, clear? So you can see, you can look at the diagram also. See, what is a domain DNS? See, DNS stands for domain name system, domain name server, right? So domain name system translates human readable domain names. For example, suppose python.mykvs.in or cbsc.nse.in, cbscacademic.nse.in. Okay, so many things we are writing, isn't it? Kiran Kumari k.wordpress.com. Okay, so many things we are doing, right? So in the browser, whatever we are writing, okay, so that whatever name we have entered, that is translated to machine readable IP address. So for example, 182.156.84.26, that is the IP address. Okay, DNS servers translate request for names into IP addresses. See, what is the domain name? Domain name is our website name. For example, in this case, python.mykvs.in. In this is a primary domain is, okay, mykvs. In this python.mykvs.in. Okay, .in is the primary domain. MyKVS is the subdomain, and Python is the subdomain of MyKVS. Okay, so here generic domain names are .com, .edu, .gov, .mil, .net, .org. All these are generic domain names. Country specific domain names, .in for India, .us for United States, .uk for United Kingdom, right? Isn't it? So like this also you can see the country specific domain names. .edu for education, that is generic, isn't it? Right. What is a URL? URL or URI, Uniform Resource Locator or Uniform Resource Indicator, is defined as the global address of documents and other resources on the World Wide Web. The URL is an address that sends users to specific resources online, such as web page, video or other document or resource. See, for example, here when we have given cbscacademic.nse.in, and that curriculum we are seeing, right? So here what is a protocol? Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTP, isn't it? See, before that colon, HTTP is there, and then cbscacademic.nic.in. So nic.in is in is to indicate that is in India based, isn't it? So nic.in, National Informatics Center, they have that domain name, right? NIC is, and then the subdomain is CBSE Academic. Got it? So and here what is the file we are trying to access? What is the web page we are trying to access? Curriculum 2021.html. So that is the path of the page in that folder. Okay, so in that folder, cbscacademic.nic.in. so what is the file you are accessing? That path we are giving here. Got it? So what is the URL? URL is Uniform Resource Locator. So where is the resource? It is locating, so it is given as the address. Okay, in the address bar we will be entering, right? So this is already also called as Uniform Resource Locator or Uniform Resource Indicator. Okay, it is the global address of the document in the World Wide Web. Okay, right. Now let us look at what is the web page, what is website, what is web server, and what is web browser. So what is a web page? It is simple one HTML document, a single HTML document which can be displayed in the web browser. Website is collection of web pages which are grouped together and usually connected together in various ways, often called a website or simply a site. Okay, so what is a web browser? Web browser is a software that interprets the HTML document and display them in the human readable form, which is known as a web browser. See, previously we have seen the coding, right? XML coding and HTML coding. If you look at the coding, everybody when they look at the coding, they do not understand anything. So it has to be translated. Who will translate? Web browser will translate. Okay, right. See, for example web browsers you must be familiar with in your mobiles, you must be using in your computers, you must be using. Say, for Firefox, Google Chrome, Internet Explorer, Opera, Microsoft Internet Explorer, Edge, Apple's Safari. These are also often called just pages. Okay, so now what is a web server? A software which hosts website and written web pages to web client on request. For example, Apache Tomcat server, Microsoft's Internet Information Services IIS server, Windows server, okay, Jigsaw web server, Juice web server. Got it? So these are all different web servers. Okay, so here, so when you wanted to host your own website, okay, so when you want to host your own website, we need a domain name, isn't it? So what is a domain name? Domain name is the address of your website that people type in the browser's URL. Okay, so to visit your website they need to enter, right? So then that is the domain name. We need a domain name, right? That domain name should be unique, isn't it? See, if already some people are already using it, okay, so that domain name you can that domain name with the same extension like .com .in as it is, you cannot use it. Okay, so web hosting is the place where all files of your website live. It is like the home of our website where it actually lives. So domain names and web hosting are two different services. Okay, both are different services, however they work together to make websites possible. It is possible with the system known as DNS. What is that? DNS is domain name server, domain name system. Okay, what are the types of web hosting? There are four main types of web hosting. You may ask, ma'am, we want to do our own website or something like that. Okay, so there are four main types of web hosting. One is shared web hosting, another is virtual private server hosting, another is dedicated hosting, then cloud hosting, right? Say shared hosting, shared by multiple domains or websites. VPS is virtual private server hosting, is the main server is split into multiple virtual servers, hence the name. These virtual servers can be customized by individual websites. Dedicated hosting is websites being hosted on a dedicated server, have complete technical control over the server settings. We choose the software configurations and anything else we need, like lamp. Okay, so wherever that lamp, XAMPP, wherever it is installed, that dedicatedly in that computer is dedicated for that only, right? That server. Okay, so cloud hosting plans come with multiple remote servers. Each server has different responsibilities. If one of the server is compromised or has a problem, okay, so other servers on the network, they will share the work. Okay, they will share the responsibilities and pick up the slack. Okay, reseller hosting and WordPress hosting are also specific types of hosting. Okay, so here you can see, WordPress hostings, Wix, so many websites are providing, right? Free hosting, 00 web hosting, like that. Okay, so they will be selling after certain time. See here, cloud hosting, see I am using Moodle Clouds, and Moodle Clouds free hosting, and I am already using for my 12th standard kids, where I can give 50 users and I can share all the quiz, everything. It is exactly like Moodle. After installing XAMPP server and doing all the Moodle implementations or LAMP server, it is similar to that. So I need not do all the configurations, but it is okay. So but it is having its own limitations. When we are using the free hostings and all, having limitations, later on we can go for registration and all, like WebScript. Now let us proceed to WebScript, a computer programming language for adding dynamic capabilities to World Wide Web. Okay, so when you want to add some dynamic capabilities, actually HTML is not a dynamic, isn't it? It is a static, right? So by using some script, we can provide some dynamic capabilities to our web pages. Okay, so for example, CGI. Okay, so CGI component on the server contains small programs called scripts that take information from the browser system or provide it for display. So here we will be using so many scripting, different as per the requirement and as per the convenience and how much you are familiar. Accordingly, we will go for the language, right? So scripting languages, what are they doing? They are like programming languages only that allow us to write programs in the form of script. It is not completely exactly like the programming language program. Okay, so these are scripting languages, no? So they are similar. All the if conditions, loops, whatever you are using, they look similar, but there is slight difference. Okay, these scripts are interpreted, not compiled, and executed line by line. So when they are executed line by line, even there is some error in your coding also, till that place it will be executed. Two types of scripting languages are used. See, client side scripting languages and server side scripting languages. Client side, client side scripting languages, client is we the users, whoever is giving the request, isn't it? Server side is server is giving the response, isn't it? So here client side, there is no we need not have that much control and all, right? So on server side there should be some security, all these things, isn't it? So client processes the script given from the server once the response is received. So at the client side, again it has to be translated to the user understandable form, isn't it? So for this we need some scripting languages. And server after receiving the request, it has to process the requested script and it has to give the response. Okay, so for that we need a server side scripting. Okay, some scripting languages, they act as both client side as well as a server side also. We can use if you are familiar with one of them, then you can use for both also, right? So client side scripting refers to the programs that are executed on client side. Client side scripts contains the instruction for the browser to be executed in response to certain users action. Suppose we want to develop web page for simple calculation, then client side scripting must be preferred, as the numbers will be entered at the client side and can be executed at client computers. If such data are to be processed at server end, then suppose 100 user calculate, then 100 threads of process will be running over the server. As a result, server speed will slow down, isn't it? So here there are a list of client side scripting languages are given. JavaScript, it is a prototype based scripting language. It inherits its naming conventions from Java. All JavaScript files are stored in file having .js extension. Okay, so VBScript, it is an open source web based web programming language developed by Microsoft. It is superset of JavaScript and adds optional static typing class based object oriented programming. PHP is pre-hypertext processor, is an acronym for pre-hypertext processor, otherwise hypertext preprocessor, is a widely used open source scripting language and is free to download and use, run on both client and server. Right, let's look at some server side scripting also. See, in server side also Java server pages are there. Okay, PHP is there. Okay, so server side scripting access an interface for the client and also limit the user access the resources on web server. It can also collect the user's characteristics in order to customize response. Suppose a user log in a web application, then user will enter username and password, which will be sent to the server end and will be checked at the server only for login purpose. Okay, so what are the server side scripting? We have ASP, that is active server pages. Okay, JSP is Java server pages. Okay, ASP is server side script engine to create dynamic web pages. It supports component object model COM, which enables ASP websites to access functionality of libraries such as DLL. Okay, Java server pages is a technology for controlling the content or appearance of web pages through the use of servlets, small programs that are specified in the web page and run on the web server to modify the web page before it is sent to the user who requested it. Sun Microsystems, the developer of Java, also refers to JSP technology as the Servlet Application Program Interface API. Okay, JSP is comparable to Microsoft's active server pages technology. Okay, PHP is pre-hypertext processor, as we have seen in the client side scripting also, is widely used open source scripting language and is free to download and use, run on both client and server. Okay, so as it is open source and free to use and easy also, right? Even I learnt all these three programming language, ASP, JSP and PHP. It will not take much time also. If you want to learn on your own, there are certain websites like W3 schools, so it's very easy and interesting also, right? Now let's go forth and look at the other next topic in our syllabus, that is Web 2.0. Right, what is Web 2.0? Web 2.0 is the name used to describe the second generation of World Wide Web, where focus is given to a more interactive dynamic web experience. Web 2.0 is focused on the ability for people to collaborate and share information online via social media, blogging, and web-based communities. It supports an interactive experience between users and web publishers rather than the one-way conversation that had previously existed. Web 2.0, the term means such internet applications which allow sharing and collaboration opportunities to people and help them to express themselves online. For example, hosted services like Google Maps, web applications like Google Docs, Flickr, video sharing sites like YouTube, blogs like WordPress, social networking, Facebook, microblogging, Twitter, content hosting services, and many, many more Web 2.0 resources. Okay, Web 2.0 is the service. Okay, which are used, which these things are all using. Okay. So what is Web 2.0? Web 2.0 is the second generation World Wide Web. Okay, that is mainly for social media, you can say. Right. So thanks for all these resources. I've gone through w3schools.com, python.mykvs.in, and tutorialspoint.com to refer to the material related to this as per the CPSE curriculum. Thank you everyone. Thank you for watching, and keep watching for the practical HTML and XML in the next session.